Hello friends! If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a fan or a subscriber, welcome back. I really do appreciate you. Today I'm going to be talking about Jim Jones and his marriage to Marceline. Not much else I need to say, so let's get on with the video. After moving out of her parents' house to Bloomington with Jim, Marceline discovered that there was no marital compromise with him either. Even more to her dismay, Jim told her he didn't believe in the Bible God at all, since a loving God wouldn't allow such misery. As Jim recalls, one day he and Marceline argued over God's goodness or lack thereof. Marceline was driving, and they were in the middle of nowhere. Jim said she blamed his socialist beliefs for his hatred of God and said, "Change your ideology or get out of the car." So he got out of the car, but finally Marceline came back. His second year in college didn't go so well. He dropped out of several classes, and those he did complete didn't have good grades. At home, Marceline coaxed him into attending Methodist services and even healed the rift between Jim and her family. He doted on her grandmother and took special interest in her 9-year-old cousin, Ronnie. Ronnie's father had died when he was 4, and his unstable mother often sent him and his brothers to live with relatives or foster families. In 1950, Ronnie suffered from abdominal pain, but the foster family didn't do anything because they believed he was faking it to skip school. Marceline found out about it and suspected a ruptured appendix. She and Jim went to the foster family's house and rushed him to the hospital, where Marceline's suspicions were confirmed. About a year later, they invited Ronnie to live with them, which was a huge sacrifice for them. By that time, they'd moved to Indianapolis so Jim could attend pre-law classes at the University of Indiana. In 1952, Jim only took 2 classes. He was no longer intent on finishing college because he had decided what he wanted to do with his life. He renewed his commitment to socialism, this time in the extreme form of communism. In Indianapolis, there were occasional public gatherings of communists, which Jim attended, often with Marceline and Ronnie. At these meetings, Jim carefully listened to the cadences and paid attention to the mannerisms of effective speakers. He made no secret about this, even though government agents stood outside observing and taking notes. Marceline managed to drag Jim to Methodist services from time to time, and this gave him impetus to pursue his socialist agenda. During this time, Marceline was occasionally able to drag Jim to Sunday services at the Methodist Church. In 1952, Methodism adopted a new creed, the easing of poverty, free speech, prison reform, and racial integration. At this time, he informed Marceline and her family that he would become a Methodist minister. With this in mind, he started looking for a Methodist church that would accept him as a student pastor. This made Marceline happy, but she failed to recognize that in Jim's perspective, the church had come to him rather than him returning to the church. As he was searching for a Methodist church, he sometimes took Marceline and Ronnie to black churches, where they were often the only white family. Ronnie was particularly impressed because black churches were much more participatory and less rigid. People had fun instead of fulfilling an obligation. Jim seemed more at home in these services, probably because of the openness of the congregations. The Jones loved having company, and Jim wanted to know everything about his new friends, including how discrimination affected them. He stopped lecturing Ronnie about sex and started lecturing him on the equality of the races. In the summer of 1952, Somerset Methodist Church hired him as a student pastor. The church drew most of its membership from low-income white families. His first sermon praised living Christianity. At 21, he had found his life's work. If you like this kind of content, hit the like button, press the subscribe button, and if you would like to know when I come out with new content, hit the bell next to the subscribe button. My Twitter, Discord, email, and PayPal links are in the description, along with the source that I used for this video. If you wish to support this channel, you may do so at my PayPal link. Question everything and never be afraid. Remember, you are beautiful just the way you are, but self-improvement is never a mistake. Here are a couple of videos from my library. If you have not watched them yet, go ahead and watch them and tell me what you think. Until next time, friends, goodbye.